In this video, we will review the main concepts of the unit circle. So we're going to start with 1 through 9. I'm going to pick up some numbers and we'll do them together. So let's look at number 1. What's the cosine of pi over 3 plus 2 pi k? Since the period of a cosine is 2 pi, so whether if I'm adding a 2k pi or not, this is the same answer as the cosine of pi over 3. Now remember, you can always draw the unit circle, and the pi over 3 is going to be over here. So the cosine of the pi over 3 is going to be 1/2. So the cosine of pi over 3 plus 2k pi is going to be 1/2 as well, since 2 pi is the period of a cosine, so that's not going to change the angle. So if I'm starting over here and I'm doing a full rotation, I'm going to end up where I am. So that represents coterminal angles. So let's do a sine of 14 pi over 3. Now remember, so sine of 14 pi over 3, that's going to be the pi over 3 family. So I know that the answer is going to be a radical 3 over 2. Since the sine of pi over 3 is going to be a radical 3 over 2. But I need to know where this angle is going to lie, in what quadrant, because that's going to affect my sine. So I'm going to subtract a multiple of the 2 pi. So let's subtract 2 pi over 3 since 12 pi over 3, since 12 over 3 is a 4 pi. So we're subtracting an even pi. So that's that will work, and that will give me a coterminal angle. And that's going to give me 2 pi 3. So I'm finding the sine of 2 pi over 3. Now the 2 pi over 3 is somewhere over here. So the sine of 2 pi over 3 is still going to be positive. So the sine of 14 pi over 3 is positive. Now let's do a tangent. What's the tangent of negative 2 pi over 3? So this is the negative pi over 3, and that's going to be the negative 2 pi over 3. Now remember, this is going to be the pi over 3 family. So the tangent of 2 pi over 3 is going to be sine over cosine. So it's going to be the radical 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. So that's going to simplify to give me a radical 3. Now the negative 2 pi over 3 is going to be in this quadrant. So the tangent is going to be positive. Now remember, all students take calculus. So in this quadrant, all of the sine, cosine, and tangent are positive. Here the sine is positive, here the tangent is positive, and here the cosine is positive. So since I'm lying in this quadrant, the tangent is going to be positive, so it's going to be a radical 3. Now what's the cotangent? So let's do a cotangent problem. Let's do number 7. Now, what's the cotangent of pi over 6? So that's still going to be the pi over 6 family. So that's going to be radical 3. Now, the pi over 6, if I'm talking about the negative pi over 6, is going to be somewhere over here. So this is going to be negative 5 pi over 6. And remember, if the tangent in this quadrant is positive, then the cotangent will also be positive, so that's going to be my answer. Now, we just did a sine, a cosine, a tangent, and a cotangent. Let's do a secant and a cosecant. What is the cosecant of pi? Now, cosecant means 1 over sine. So I need to know what the sine of pi is. Now, the pi is somewhere over here. So the sine of pi is going to be 0. 1 over 0 will give me something that's undefined. So the cosecant of pi is undefined. Now, what about the secant? What's the secant of 11 pi over 4? Now again, this is the pi over 4 family. Secant is 1 over cosine. Okay? So it's going to be 2 over radical 2, which will simplify to give me just simply radical 2. Now I need to decide if this is going to be positive or negative. Now 11 pi over 4, let's simplify it, and since this is a secant, so it has the same period as a cosine or a sine, so that's 2 pi. So if I subtract an even number of pi, let's say 8 pi over 4, which simplifies to give me 2 pi. Now 11 pi over 4 minus 8 pi over 4, that's going to give me 3 pi over 4. So the 3 pi over 4 is going to be somewhere over here. So if this is pi over 4, then this 3 pi over 4 is going to be somewhere over here. So in this quadrant, only the sine is positive. So the cotangent, or what's that? The secant is going to be, which is the same sign as the cosine, which is negative. So that's going to be negative root 2. Now again, you can leave the answer as negative 2 over radical 2. That will be fine. Both of these answers are correct. Now let's move on to 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to do number 11. Now the angle that they are requesting has to be between negative 2 pi and 2 pi, so keep that in mind. And they want us to give 4 angles for theta whose tangent is radical 3. So what angle will give me a tangent of radical 3? So that, remember that tangent is sine over cosine, so the sine has to be radical 3 over 2 over 1/2 to simplify to give me radical 3. So which family has the tangent equal to radical 3? That's the pi over 3 family. Since the sine of pi over 3, which is somewhere over here, the pi over 3 is going to be somewhere over here. So the sine of pi over 3 is radical 3 over 2, and the cosine is 1/2. So if we divide them, that simplifies to give me radical 3. So pi over 3 would be an option. And now they said that the tangent is radical 3, which is positive. So again, all students take calculus. So the two angles where the tangent is positive is over here in this quadrant, first quadrant, and the third quadrant. So this angle is going to be, if this is pi over 3, this is going to be 2 pi over 3, and that's going to be 4 pi over 3. So that angle is going to be 4 pi over 3. So that's the second angle. Now, since they limited me to be between negative 2 pi and 2 pi, I cannot think of coterminal angles, because if I add 2 pi to either one of them, I'm going to be outside the domain they give me for my angle. So that means I need to take those angles and try to measure them in the negative direction. So if this is pi over 3 and this is 4 pi over 3, if I'm going in the counterclockwise. Now if I go clockwise, what will those angles be? So if this is negative pi over 3, that's going to be negative 2 pi over 3. And then if I continue, if this is negative 2 pi over 3, this is negative 4 pi over 3, and that's going to be negative 5 pi over 3, which is the angle I want. So there you go. I found the 4 angles that they requested. Now, if they didn't limit me, if they said from negative 4 pi to 4 pi, then I could have found those angles and added or subtracted 2 pi to them to get the angles I want. But since I'm limited between negative 2 pi and 2 pi, so I had to find what those angles are and in what quadrant they are, so I can go and count them in the positive direction and the negative direction. So that's how you do something like number 11. Now, as for number 13, since they are saying that the angle is between negative 360 and 360, that means I need to add 360 or subtract 360, so I would be between those two angles. For something like number 14, I have to add or subtract 2 pi and find all of those angles that would limit me between those two. Now, again, if you want to find what quadrant, that means you need to keep on subtracting or adding 2 pi to this until you get to the acute angle, or maybe an angle that you're familiar with, to know where that angle is going to be. So for something like number 15, I'm going to add 14 pi over 5, because 40 over 5 is 8 pi, which is even. So that's 2 pi. So basically it's a multiple of 2 pi. That's going to give me a negative 2 pi over 5. Now what quadrant is this? Now remember, I'm going in the negative direction. So if this is 0, and that's going to be negative pi over 2, which is negative 1/2. So negative 2 over 5 is going to be somewhere, it's negative 0.4. So that's going to be somewhere over here between the 0 and the negative 0.5 pi. So then my angle will terminate in quadrant 4. Now, how do I change between degrees and radians? Remember, if you want to change from a degree to radian, you multiply by pi over 180. And if you want to change between radian and angle and degrees, you multiply by 180 over pi. Now let's do something like number 17. Now you're not responsible for number 18, so you don't have to do that. So let's look at number 17. A ball and string is swung in a circular path. How many revolutions per minute? So that's what they want, the revolutions per minute. if the angular speed is 6 pi radian per second. So I'm given the angular speed, which is 6 pi radian per second, and I need to get to revolution per minute. Now remember, every revolution, which means a full rotation, is 2 pi radian. So I need to multiply it, and I need to put the radian on the bottom and the revolution on top, so then the radian would cancel out. So remember, one revolution is 2 pi radian. Now, how do I change between second and 1 minute? So that means I need to put the second on top, so then it would cancel out, and I need to put the minute on the bottom. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. And I will end up at the end with revolution per minute, which is what they requested. So what you need to do is multiply 6 pi times 60 over 2 pi. So that will be, the pi's cancel out. 6 divided by 2 is a 3, and then 3 times 60 will be 180 revolution per minute. So that's how you change from angular speed to revolution per minute. Let's move on to the back page, and I'm going to do the graphing part with you and some of the problems on the bottom. So let's look at number 19. If I need to draw 1 period of the cosine x. So 1 period is from 0 to 2 pi. So that's going to be 0. That's going to be pi over 2. They didn't request like pi over 3 or pi over 6 or pi over 4, so I can use the angles any way I want. So that's pi, that's 3 pi over 2, and that's the 2 pi. Now cosine of 0 is 1, and then cosine of pi over 2 is 0, cosine of pi is -1, cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0, and cosine of 2 pi is 1. So it's going to look like a dip, and that's 1 period. So remember, a period of a cosine is going to be 2 pi. Now they want me to graph 1 period of the cotangent x. So remember, cotangent is cosine over sine. So that means that whatever makes the sine 0 is going to be my asymptote. So in this case, the asymptotes are going to be the k pi family. So I will have to put a vertical asymptote at the 0, the pi, and so on. 1 period of the cotangent x is just pi. So I'm going to count pi over 2 and then pi and put a vertical asymptote at the pi. Now think about it, that the pi cosine or cotangent of pi over 4 is 1, and cotangent of 3 pi over 4 is -1. So it's going to look like a cubic function having the asymptotes k pi. So that's 1 period of the cotangent x. Now in number 21, they are requesting that I sketch tangent x between -pi and pi. So I'm going to set it up. So if this is -pi over 2, this is going to be -pi. If this is pi over 2, that's going to be pi. So remember, tangent is sine over cosine. So the asymptote is whatever make the cosine 0. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0. So I'm going to have vertical asymptotes at the pi over 2 plus k pi family. So these are my asymptotes. Now let's think of the zeros. The zeros of the tangent is whatever make the sine 0. So this is the pi, the -pi, and the 0. Now let's go ahead and sketch it. So the tangent of pi over 4 is 1, the tangent of -pi over 4 is going to be -1, then this is going to be looking like that. Now I need to sketch this part. Now remember, everything is going to be reflected, so if I know that's going to be looking like that, so this part is going to go down, and since they want only from -pi to pi, so that's the only thing I need to sketch. And since this part has to go like that, so from -pi I have to go up. So that would be the graph that they requested between -pi and pi. I cannot graph anything extra. Now let's move on to 22. I need to graph 1 period of the cosecant x. Now remember, cosecant is 1 over sine. So in this case, my asymptote is whatever makes the sign 0. So that's going to be the k pi family. And since they requested 1 period, I'm going to start at 0 and then draw pi over 2 and then pi and then 3 pi over 2 and then 2 pi. And remember, the 2 pi or the k pi family is going to be whatever my vertical asymptote is. So it's going to be 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 over here. Now, the sine of pi over 2 is 1. So 1 over 1 is going to be 1. So this is going to be a parabola opening upward. I have no zeros in this case. And the sine of 3 pi over 2 is going to be negative 1. So the 1 over negative 1 is negative 1. And it's going to be pointing downward as well. So this is a graph of 1 period of a cosecant. I have a cosecant has no zeros, and the asymptotes are at the k pi, where k is an integer. Now let's do 33 together. So we have is a wheel that has a radius of 4 meters and turns at a rate of 2 revolutions per minute, and they want the angular speed in radian per minute and the linear speed in meter per second. Okay, so I have 2 revolutions per minute, and if I want to find radian per minute, then I need to change from revolution to radian. So remember, 1 revolution is 2 pi radian. So then the revolution cancels out, and I will get 4 pi radian per minute, and that's the angular speed. Now, if I want to find the linear speed, remember, you need to not just multiply by 2 pi, but you need to multiply by 2 pi r. And the unit is going to be the unit of the radius. So if I have 2 revolutions per minute, and I want meter per second, so I need to multiply by, I have 1 revolution on the bottom, so the revolution would cancel out, and then I will have 2 pi r, and the unit is going to be the unit of the radius, which is meters. Now, what is the r? The r is 4, so 2 times 4 will give me 8. Now I got the meters. Now I need per second. So I need to multiply, and the minute is going to be on top and the second on the bottom, so the minute would cancel out. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. So now I have 2 times a pi over 60 seconds. So let's simplify. So 2 and 60 simplify to give me 1 on 30, and then if I divide by 2 again, I will get 4 and 15. So that's going to be 4 over 15 meters per second. And there you go, I just found the linear speed. Now I hope that this video was helpful. Make sure that you finish the rest of the review and turn it on the day of the retake.